Hello, my name is Emily, and today I will be discussing companion animals and the psychological impacts that they have on mental health and cognition. So, until recent years, studies considering the effects of companion animals on these things have not widely been conducted. And as more researchers have begun to dive into this field of study, it has been opening many doorways for improving the mental health treatments, as well as the overall health and development of children, as well as the development and functional skills of children with developmental disorders such as autism spectrum disorder. So, going into the impact that companion animals have on child and adolescent development, they have large impact on the socio-emotional development, cognitive development, physical health, and much more whenever it comes to considering children. So the socio-emotional development, this is going to refer to basically a child's ability to establish rewarding and positive relationships with others through means of experience and, as well as management and expression of emotion. This development requires skills in areas of self-management, social awareness, self-awareness, relationship skills, as well as responsible decision making. Whenever it comes to the cognitive development aspect of this refers to a child's ability to think, explore, problem solve, and things such as that. And in the literature, there was a study conducted at Colorado State University, which showed that children who grew up exposed to companion animals of some sort tend to be more socially competent than those who grew up without companion animals, as well as it resulted in a greater capacity for understanding as well as retaining information. Regarding the physical health aspect, the literature discussed that whenever a medical regimen was implemented into a pet care routine, such as taking pills or checking blood pressure or something like that, there was a semi-automatic response created that resulted in the ideology that if one task is completed, the other must be completed as well. Moving on to the long-term mental illnesses. Companion animals improve this aspect of mental health in many different ways. So mental illnesses, they come in many different forms, and they affect approximately 1 in 4 people. And as of 2019 in the United States, there was approximately 51.5 million people that were affected by some sort of mental illness. That would be approximately 15.7% of the population, the United States population at that time. And oftentimes these mental health issues, they result in feelings of lack of worth, suicidal thoughts or tendencies, and other things such as that. And sometimes they can be results of chemical imbalances in the brain, and other times they're results from like severe trauma, such as like combat deployments, sexual assault, and things such as that. Regardless of this, however, there have been multiple studies that show companion animals help owners overcome the negative feelings from their diagnosis and the aspect of caring for the pet. It helps the owner reestablish their sense of worth and then also overcome the negative feelings that they have been having. Companion animals also consist in the practical work whenever it comes to mental illnesses, such as like distracting from the negative feelings and such, whether it be from means of playing, cuddling, taking your dog for a walk, feeding them, and many other things. The literature also discusses how companion animals are now being used in neurological rehabilitation programs for issues such as PTSD and many other mental health issues. where this is because the loyalty, compassion, and dependency of the pet over time allows the individual to see that it's okay to trust again, and it helps the owner to heal and overcome the feelings that came with their mental health issues and regain confidence and many other things. So moving on to autism spectrum disorder, there are many ways in which companion animals help in this aspect. So autism spectrum disorder is one of the many disorders that impact mental health and cognition, and it's a developmental disorder that affects nearly 75 million people, and it ranges in symptoms and severity. So the Human Animal Bond Research Institute, they conducted a study, and it showed a high increase in verbal and nonverbal communications in the children with autism spectrum disorder who were once severely withdrawn after the introduction of an emotional support animal into the therapy is whenever these results were seen. The literature also shows another study that it was conducted by health psychologists at the University of Missouri, who found that children with autism who have pets, they tend to show greater amounts of empathy, as well as exhibit less behavioral issues such as bullying, hyperattention, inattention, and other behavioral issues such as that. Individuals with autism spectrum disorder, they also tend to develop other mental health issues along with that, such as anxiety or depression, due to the knowledge of being different from their peers and feeling like they don't fit in. And as noted in the mental health section of this, companion animals have great success whenever it comes to lowering the symptoms of mental health illnesses such as those. And so in the increased sense of responsibility that individuals with autism feel whenever they are caring for an animal results in an increased sense of purpose. So looking at the perspective or future research ideas, companion animals, the research done on their effect on mental health is relatively new, and there are many paths that can be taken for future research. And so diving more into the current studies, whether it be with long-term mental health issues, psychological disorders, developmental disorders, or other things such as that, would open many doorways into improving therapy as it is now. I think that an interesting aspect to look into would be the effect that companion animals have on eating disorders, as this is not something that has been studied hardly at all. There's a current project, it's the Soul Pause Recovery Project, and they actually offer free animal-assisted therapy to individuals struggling with eating disorders, because the founder found that she was struggling with an eating disorder, and it was animals that helped her through her recovery process, and that's why they started this project. But eating disorders not only affect mental and physical health, but because eating disorders affect mental and physical health, developing future studies in this area would be, in my opinion, monumental in finding potential new treatment options for eating disorders. And this is true for numerous different aspects of mental health, cognition, development, and overall psychology. So in conclusion, the literature used, it provides solid evidence confirming that companion animals aid those struggling with mental health issues, disorders possessed at birth, recovery of traumatic incidents, and several other things such as that.